Been as a result of a fellow dropping in by the name of Jerry Lee Lewis. As you know, you young folks especially, there's a hit record right now called A Whole Lot of Shakin' Going On. It's one of those songs where you kind of get the beat and the feeling, and nobody has ever heard the lyric, and nobody ever will, I guess. It goes by too fast. But here he is, jumping and jolting, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Come on over, baby. A whole lot of shaking going on. Yeah, come on, baby. Baby, you can't go wrong. Oh, keep thinking. A whole lot of shaking going on. Yeah, come on.
Did you know that was going to be a hit?
Yes, I did.
How did you know? What told you?
I knew it was a hit. I knew my song would be a hit.
Salute! Starring your host, Dick Clark. And featuring Autrey, Gary Busey, Ruth Buzzi, Johnny Cash, Mick Fleetwood, Emmylou Harris, Chris Christopherson, Little Richard, Keith Richards, and Jerry Lee's daughter, Phoebe. Saluting Jerry Lee Lewis. And now, your host, Dick Clark.
Very much. Good evening and welcome to Salute. Each week as we pay tribute to another outstanding musical name in our industry, we'll experience individuals unique unto themselves, each with a certain kind of magic, a quality that sets them apart from one another. And then, you know, every now and again, every once in a while, along comes a one-of-a-kind, and there's nothing left to be desired. Now, tonight's guest was a brand new sensation in 1957. 2 years later, he was blacklisted. A lot of people said he was a has-been. He was finished. Well, today, that very same man is referred to as a legend. Now, I was lucky enough to be there in the beginning, and I'm really glad to be around for the payoff. I think you will be too, as we celebrate the life, the times, the talent, the very existence of Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis.
Shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Do my drugs as a man insane. You broke my wheel, what a thrill. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. I had to love cause I thought it was funny. You came along and you moved me, honey. I changed my mind, loving you fine. Goodness gracious, quick balls of fire. Kiss me, baby, feeling good. Ooh, hold me, woman, yeah. Just let me love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. I'm gonna tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. Gotta chew my nails and I'll twiddle my palm. Give it over, baby, but it sure is fun. Come on, honey, you drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, quick balls of fire. Like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. I'm gonna tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. Gotta chew my nails and I feel on fun. I'm getting nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, you're driving me crazy. Goodness gracious, quick balls of fire. Hey!
Still have the touch. Please.
Thank you, sir.
Jerry Lee Lewis, 48 and holding. Now,
Hey.
back in 1956, when you were just about, 21 years of age and just getting a hold on the business, you were getting $50 a night, and then, by the end of the next year, your fee was up to $10,000 a night. What do you think you're worth a night right now?
Whatever you're willing to pay, Dick.
You know, when you're doing a tribute to somebody, the best thing is to go back to the beginning, and I know that you're not the sort of a fellow that likes to look behind you. You stay with today, but there are a lot of people who would like to know when you were back there in Ferdy, Louisiana, what influenced you? Did you know what you were going to do with life then?
Yes, pretty well so. I was 8 years old when I started playing the piano, singing.
Taught yourself?
Taught myself, sure did.
Hey, can you read music now?
No, never could.
You're amazing.
My mother and dad bought me a piano when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And my mother said, hey, boy, you're a natural piano player. Now get with it.
I mean, no kind of music, no people?
No, nothing. Just me and the piano.
You're getting very humble in your old age.
Think about it.
Salute continues with Keith Richards and Mick Fleetwood.
We got to move by the horn. Oh, we making a whole lot of shaking going on.
There's a man here tonight who is still one of the guiding lights of the Fleetwood Mac organization and a great star, Mr. Mick Fleetwood. Mick, probably a lot of people are wondering how a fellow like Mick Fleetwood became a fan of Jerry Lee Lewis. Was it early in your life when you were with, just starting out, 67 or whenever?
It was really before I even got in a band, as it happens. You know.
Do you happen to remember the first Jerry Lee Lewis record you ever heard?
It was a whole lot of shaking.
Whole lot of shaking going on. What was your immediate reaction to it?
Just the old you can't stop your foot tapping, and I've been trying to do that ever since. So.
John Lennon said that a whole lot of shaking going on was the perfect rock and roll record ever made. Would you agree with that?
I think it's one of many that he's done myself. But...
This man has a career that spans more than 25 years. What do you think, I mean, you're in a position to know as a performer, what does a recording artist have to do, what does a performer have to do to have that sort of lasting power?
Magic, that's it. You know,
You can't bottle it.
No, you cannot. Absolutely not.
I have something interesting. Hang here for one moment. Now, Mick just mentioned England. How many thousand times have you played England in your life?
Well, Dick, I've worked in England for the last 20 years, really.
Now, go back a little ways, not to the very beginning, but do you remember a tour when there was an opening act who became very famous?
Really, the Rolling Stones. It was about 1963.
What was your impression of that group?
Well, hit. I knew they were.
Yeah?
Fantastic.
All right, half a second, let me reveal the other guest here standing at the piano. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Rolling Stones, Mr. Keith Richards. Same question. How old were you when you were on that tour?
19.
What did you think of him?
Same thing I thought when I first heard his first record. Chills and fever down the left side.
Chills and fever? Now, why would a man who has all the money in the world, the fame and the popularity, fly here on a quick call? You're in Jamaica and say, we're doing a television show for Jerry Lee Lewis. What's the inspiration for that?
Same reason I'm wearing a tux for the first time in my life. I mean, for this gentleman.
Why do you think people of several generations have been inspired by him?
Because he's so good.
If we could put all three of you gentlemen together, I know you don't do these things ad lib. Do you like Hank Williams music?
I can get behind it.
Mick, is Hank Williams all right with you?
Fine with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a first. You need something to play, though. How do I do this in alphabetical order? Let's see. Fleetwood, Richards, anyway, the guy.
If it's cheating hard is going to make you wait, you'll cry and cry, lay that body down, I'll tell on you.
Yeah, I got a lump in my throat, saw her coming down the aisle. And the wiggles in my knees when she looks at me and sweetly smiles.
Well, there she is again, standing over by the record machine. Thank God, looking like the model on the cover of a magazine. Hey, she seems to be too cute to be admitted over 17. Well, meanwhile, I'm thinking she's in the mood, no need to break it. I got a chance, think I'll take it. Come on, Queenie, let's shake it. Give it to the killer, honey, don't break it. Go, 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 little Queenie. Go, 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 little Queenie. I said go, 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 little Queenie. Hey. About the record machine. Looking like the model on the cover of a magazine.
Well, she's too cute to be a minute over 17. Meanwhile, still thinking,
huh?
If it's a slow one,
We'll omit it.
it's a rock kind.
Oh, get it.
If it's good,
Oh, God, I'll admit it. Give it to me, Queen. Let's get ready to take it for me. Don't you break it. Go, 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 little Queen. Woo! Go, 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 little Queen. Go, 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 little Queen. Bring it, King.
Salute continues with Chris Christopherson and Ruth Buzzi.
Shake, honey, shake, baby, shake. Come on over, whole lot of shaking going on.
I rank him high on the list of people that I admire. I think Jerry Lee is always given 150% of himself as a performing artist, and I think he's the standard against which the rest of us should be measured. I would like to think that I would always try and give as much as a performer as Jerry Lee's always done. I admire him as much as any artist alive. I don't know a whole lot of funny stories. Well, I know a lot of funny stories about him, but I'm not going to tell them because there are probably more Jerry Lee stories than there are Mel Tillis stories or just about anybody else. I have so much respect for Jerry Lee. I think he's probably one of the great performers that's ever walked on the planet, and an artist of the highest integrity. He's always persisted in sharing his musical gifts, you know, in the face of adversity that would bowl over a weaker person. And so I've always regarded him with a lot of awe.
You know, when you were in the hospital in Memphis, Chris Christopherson came out and he told people that you were sort of the Shakespeare of music.
Well, I took that as a highly paid compliment. I really did.
How do you feel about the songs that he writes?
Well, I think Chris Christopherson can write some of the greatest songs in the world. No doubt about that.
Don't look so sad. Honey, I know it's over, but life goes on, and this old world, it'll keep on turning. Oh, that's just to be glad we had some time for each other. 'Cause there'll be time enough for all the sadness, darling, when you leave me. Well, just to leave you here upon my pillow, hold your warm, good-looking body close to mine. Hear the whisper of the raindrops flowing so soft against the window. Honey, make believe you love me one more time. For the good times, I'll get along, baby. I'm sure you'll find another. But honey, well, you know how to love you, as tender as a dove, and you're gonna need it. So let's just be thankful, baby, for the months we spent with each other. Oh, while you're living your life so easy, I'm gonna be crying, or just to leave you here up on my pillow. You ought to hold your warm, good-looking body close to mine. Hear the whisper of the raindrops, they're blowing soft against the window. Honey, make believe you love me one more time. For the good time. Thank you.
For a lady whose background is clubs and reviews and Broadway and off-Broadway and television and film and all of that, how does somebody like you get to be a fan of The Killer?
Well, first of all, I saw him on television so many times, and I thought he was terrific. And I thought, I've got to see this man in person. And my husband, who was a fan also, he says, Ruth, we'll see him, we'll catch him. And finally, you were at the Palomino Club.
Right, yay.
And we got there, we sat right down in front, and you were just fabulous.
If you're gonna love me, honey, please don't tease.
If I can hold you, honey, let me squeeze.
Yeah, you know my heart going round and round.
My love comes tumbling down. You leave me breathless.
Well, mama, take over, honey, you know why. Love, baby, that ain't no lie.
'Cause when you call my name,
Everything's gonna burn like wood in flame. Give it to me, give it to me.
breathless. Woo, baby.
Crazy. Honey, you're much too much. My God, I can't love you enough, girl. It's all right. Hold me tight. And you love me right. You and I, wind, rain, sleet, or snow, Jerry Lee gonna get it wherever you go.
You leave me breathless.
Honey, you're much too much. No, I can never love you enough, 'cause you
It's all right to hold me tight. When you love me right.
G-H-T. Love upon me, 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 love upon me. God, wind, rain, sleet, snow.
Ever you go.
Really?
Salute continues with Gene Autrey and Gary Busey.
I've been to your house, and you don't have many autographed pictures around, but you got one. You know who I'm talking about?
I sure did.
Who?
Mr. Gene Autrey.
Yeah, he's right behind you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gene Autrey. Welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. Good to see you again.
Thank you, sir. You know, he is obviously an idol of yours, Jerry Lee. What was it about Gene Autrey's singing that you liked the most?
Well, I always thought Mr. Autrey was the greatest singer I'd ever heard in my life, and I saw many movies, all of his movies, back when I was growing up.
I've heard a lot of Jerry's recordings, and I think he does a wonderful job. I think that it's wonderful today, the following that he's been able to keep all these years.
He has sustaining power, for sure.
Oh, absolutely, and he's done a good job. I wish I could sing like him.
Now, wait a minute. Don't flatter him now. Well, I tell you what, we have a little bit of a tribute thing here that we're going to turn it around. This is his night we're tributing, but you got something you want to do for Mr. Autrey?
That's Mexicali Rose.
Oh,
enjoy.
One of my favorites.
Mexicali Rose, stop your crying. I'll be back again some sunny day. Oh dear, every hour I'm pining, every hour a year while I'm away. Dry those big brown eyes and smile, dear. Banish all those tears and please don't sigh. Kiss me once again and hold still crying. Jerry Lee's coming on back again some sunny day. You know, dear, every hour I find him. Every hour, oh, I'm away. I'll play it for you one time. I would love to have done this one riding champ myself, Mr. Autrey.
I hear you.
Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Sir, you have been an inspiration to the world and to Jerry Lee Lewis and to my family for many years.
Appreciate that.
So banish all those tears and please don't cry. Kiss me once again and hold me. Mexicali Rose, Mexicali Rose, Mexicali Rose. Hey, goodbye.
What does it mean to you being on the same stage with Jerry Lee Lewis?
Well, I ain't been on the same stage with him yet, so I think it'd be good to do that.
Well, you're here on this part. Would you like to move to the performing area?
Yeah, that'd be good. I'm ready
Let's
to rock.
do it. All right. Hey.
Oh, well, honey, get the lover boy means that's knocking.
You better listen to me, sugar, or the cancer at the high school rockin'.
Well, honey, get your bobbin shoes.
On the jukebox blows a fuse.
I got everybody hopping.
Got everybody rockin'.
Hopping in the high school hall.
Rockin' at the high school hop. Shakin' at the high school hop. I said bobbin' at the high school hop. Moving at the high school hop. Oh, everybody hoppin', everybody poppin', poppin' at the high school hop.
Well, come on, little baby, let me show you what I'm gonna do. My name is Jerry Lee Lewis. I'm gonna burn off both my shoes. My old heart's a beating rhythm and my soul will keep us singing the blues.
And bobbin' at the high school hop. Shakin' at the high school hop. They're rockin' at the high school hop. They're bobbin' and a good little bobbin' at the hop. Everybody rockin', everybody bobbin', bobbin' at the high school hop. Play one for me, please, Jerry Lee.
Salute continues with Johnny Cash and Emmylou Harris.
Come on, honey, we gotta move out of home. Oh, we ain't breaking, whole lot of shaking going on. Easy now, shake.
First time I ran into Jerry Lee Lewis was in Sun Records studio. I don't remember the occasion really, whether it was his session or mine, but I remember that Jerry came in and sat down at the piano, and I said to one of the guys with me, I said, man, if Jerry Lee Lewis, if this guy's going to sit at the piano, and perform, ain't nobody else gonna do nothing until he gets to. Because he was very impressive. And I remember the songs that Jerry played that first day that I met him at Sun Records. He did old things like Vacation in Heaven and some of the old country things, you know. Gospel. He did a lot of gospel too. And he did it because he loved it. There was no recorder on. He was just doing it because he loved it, because he knew we loved it. Did a lot of tours with Jerry. Once he started recording, I was recording. Carl Perkins was recording, and Roy Orbison, Warren Smith. There were several of us that toured together. And I remember 56, I believe, I had my first really big tour with Jerry Lee Lewis across Canada. And it was hard to get anybody to follow Jerry on the stage. Because once the Killer was on and was doing his show, you know, there wasn't much left to be done. I got a real special spot for Jerry Lee Lewis. He's the kind of fellow I'd like to ride the river with, you know. It's an old country expression. If a man is a good man, he's the kind of man that you wouldn't mind riding a rough river with in a small flat-bottom boat. Jerry Lee Lewis is that kind of man. He's also a great talent, and he's a true friend. He never forgets. He never forgets the kindness, the favor, and he never forgets those that he knows really love him.
I think we got a first clip in here.
Yeah.
Have you two ever sung together before?
We've sat in together in different shows, but it's the first time I got to hang around his piano.
Have you ever sung Crazy Arms before?
No.
Then this indeed is going to be a first. Ladies and gentlemen, Emmylou Harris and Jerry Lee.
How you doing?
Now blue ain't the word for the way that I feel. That old storm keep bringing this heart of mine. This ain't no crazy dream, I know that it's real. You're someone else's love now, you're not mine. Somebody new, while my yearning heart keeps saying you're not mine. My troubled mind goes through to another you'll be with. Honey, that's why I'm lonesome all the time. It might trouble mind of sin to another you'll be with. Honey, that's why I'm lonesome all the time. All right.
Salute continues with Jerry's daughter Phoebe and Little Richard.
What's he like on a one-to-one basis, a father and a daughter, when you're away from all of this stuff?
Well, he's not real different, actually, but he wasn't the kind of father who disciplines, you know. He doesn't say yes, sir, and no, sir, take out the garbage, comb your hair, that kind of thing. He's just like a real good friend who gives real good, sound advice.
I love Jerry. I think he's one of the greatest entertainers that I have met and that I have heard, and I really admire him. And I just think to God. I'm so glad and thank Jesus that he have held on, and God has something for him. This is his year. And he has been through a lot, but God is going to take him through all of it.
You like gospel music?
I love it, sure do.
Could I talk the two of you into doing a little thing for us?
Sure can.
All right, gentlemen. It's yours.
Thank you very much.
Some glad morning with your tigers on, I fly away to a land on God's celestial shore. I fly away.
I'm singing I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. The shadow of this old life is gone. Jerry Lee Lewis will fly away, just like a bird from prison bars is flown. Son, I'm going to fly away. Well, I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll away this morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by.
With its tribute to Jerry Lee Lewis.
As they come over, baby, whole lot of shaking going on. How did you come over, baby? Baby, please be that wrong. I like to hang it in all night long. Come on over, baby, well, you know we got some chicken in the barn. Whoa, honey, give it to me, mama. Jerry Lee's got the bull by the horn. I ain't faking, whole lot of shaking going on. Well, let's shake it, baby, shake it. Shake it, baby, shake it. Shake it, baby, shake it. Come on over. Whole lot of shaking going on, mama. Shake it for me, baby. shake it one time with me. Oh, hella, Holly, come on over, baby. There's a whole lot of shaking going on. Say something for me, Keith. That's a 974th stool you broken. Sit down, killer. Oh,
Thank you very much, Pete. Thank you very much, Mick. It's nice to have you with us, sir, and always you. You know, one thing I've learned tonight, watching you, becoming a success may be the toughest thing in the world, but surviving success, that is the gigantic task.
Really?
Thank you, sir, for being what you are, a one of a kind. Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, Dick Clark. Good night.
This is Gavin McLeod inviting you to watch The Love Boat on WPIX, Channel 11.
Premiering Monday at 6, right here on 11 Alive.